Welcome to Keeping Up with Data. Keeping Up with Data is the podcast that keeps data enthusiasts up to speed with what is happening in the data world. We bring in the leading minds from the data industry to talk all things career, news, embarrassing stories, failures and successes. Welcome to Keeping Up with Data with me, Joel Robinstein.
Me, Emily Nota.
And this week we are joined by a great friend, Denis Jimenez. How are you today, Denis?
Good. Thank you for having me.
No worries at all. Thanks for coming on. So we always at the beginning of our podcast let the guests introduce themselves rather than me telling you who you are. So Tell us a bit about yourself, Denis.
So Denis Jimenez, I'm currently the General Manager of Data and Analytics at Wilson Group. And I've been in data and analytics for all my life. So from early in my career, even before I started, my professional career in uni, was already involved in data and analytics and machine learning. So I fell in love with that, and here I am.
Wow. Okay. So you've known for a long time that this is your career that you want.
Kind of, yeah. I really like it from early in uni. I really like databases and SQL and the connection between data and the business, because it's two of my passions. It's talking to people, which I really love. I really like to talk to people and connect to people. And in the parties, you will see me talking to every single person in the room. And also, I'm a geek as well, so I really like data and I really like complex queries and algorithms and all of that. So it's the perfect mix. For me.
Well, it's so rare these days that you have someone walking and say, I'm in the career that I knew I needed to be in. So that's awesome.
No, I didn't knew from the beginning. So when I joined the university, I just decided to do computer engineering because I like video games. So that's how I started with IT. Not really new from the beginning, but a few years later, I started shaping my future. Yeah.
Was there any, from obviously with Spain, was there any sort of, what's the word to say, encouragement from anyone to do more of that sort of stuff? So engineering, computer science, or was it just anyone chose anything?
No, that's true. So I told my dad I wanted to be a veterinary and he laughed at me. And then he said, do you want to look after dogs of old ladies all your life? And I'm like, oh, okay, good point. You're really smart. You need to be an engineer. So I was thinking, I checked all of the engineering, degrees, and I was like, I like video games. Let's do IT. I had no idea what was coming, to be honest. No idea. And the first 2 years, I hate them because it was all maths and physics and boring. But then you start doing, it's true.
But now I love algorithms.
Yeah, and then you start with algorithms and programming languages, and then I started loving it. Yeah.
Nice.
And you still love animals?
I love animals.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You have a dog?
I always had a dog in my life.
Perfect.
Since I was born, there was a dog in my house, and there's still a dog back in Spain.
Yeah.
I'm from Spain. Always dogs. Here, no. I have 2 kids, which are a little bit animals, like monkeys. So no more animals in my life, apart from my kids at the moment.
And are they asking you for a dog, do you think? Or?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
And I really want it, but I love animals so much that I don't think I should have it, because I will not have time, and they need time. Yeah.
You could just get a really fat dog that doesn't need any exercise,
move.
Yeah.
Adopt one that is 11 years old.
Yeah, exactly,
right?
Rescue.
Foster dogs. So that's what we're going to start doing. And we've got 2 dogs, but we're going to start fostering animals.
Yeah.
One of our dogs at the minute, Hilton, is a bit old, so we're going to wait for a few years because he can't handle other dogs in the house. But fostering old dogs is a great thing to do.
I will take it.
Anyway, we're getting off topic. But back to you. So which particular video games kind of got you into this world then?
Oh, what video game? I started with Super Mario like everyone else, I guess. And then Donkey Kong, and then Zelda, Nintendo, I guess.
Yeah, I was Nintendo
and then
as well.
PlayStation, Resident Evil, Metal Gear. Yeah.
All the old school good games in the 90s.
Yeah.
All I've played is Need for Speed and GTA or something.
Not a gamer though, eh?
Oh, no.
Yeah,
no.
I still play a lot. Well, a lot when I can. So
with 2 kids, right?
Yeah.
I guess they'd be getting into it now, would they?
My little one, the 4-year-old, is asking to play. Has no idea. He's bad, but he will get better.
Yeah, I'm sure. We don't have kids, my wife and I, but whenever so Simon and Rick and Jill, our boss's kids, come round, I've got an old GameCube with Mario Kart on it.
Oh, yeah.
So I just set that up, and then they're fine in the corner, and we can eat dinner
Mario
and
Kart
drink
is
wine.
good,
Yeah, great game.
Going
Yeah, and they can learn straight away.
Yeah.
Anyway, off topic. So back to today and the podcast. So we're going to go through some of the usual stuff that we do on the podcast the last couple of weeks. Yep. So we'll do best data joke, which I know you're super prepared for. And we'll go to Emily on the streets.
Yep.
I think today we're asking them...
It's which one is fake? I'm listing a few, aren't I?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it is. Okay, so we'll get to that in a little bit. But obviously we'll dive into your background, Dennis, your career, and just some interesting stuff and see where we go with it. So... Yeah. Got a few questions that we're going to ask each week, but I think the first one that would be a really good one to start you on. So we've already mentioned that you knew you wanted to be into data for quite a while. What was the first pivotal moment that really struck a chord with you, like the lightning rod moment?
I think one of the first job I had, it was Damon Quest. It was a small consultancy. The only thing they do it was marketing, but with using data, and it was kind of like a pioneer in the space back in the day. It was acquired by Deloitte a few years later. So everything that works, Deloitte, KPMG, the big ones will try to get it and acquire it at some states. Sometimes successfully, sometimes not. With Damon Quest, they were. And we were doing predicting customer behavior. And it was like the future for me. I was like, oh my God. I was telling my friends, they didn't care, obviously, on my family. Nobody cared. But I was like, oh, we can predict what the Vodafone customers are going to do and when they are going to leave the company. And then this is when we started, and I'm sorry, I'm going to apologize in advance, because this is when they started the calls that they call you and they say, oh, do you want a new iPhone or you want 50% off? It's because the data is telling the customer service that you are a potential risk for them. So customer retention is...
So it's your fault.
Yeah, responsible for
no, it's
all
not
the
my
sales
fault.
calls, yeah.
But we were one of the first ones doing it in Europe, yeah. So,
that's really cool.
And I love it. I felt it was amazing because it was just... You could see the value of your code, because a lot of areas in IT, you don't really see the value. You know, I don't know, like you do a website or you do a program. Yeah, people use it. They might not use it. But with data, you see straight away, you know, people happy or dollar value straight away. I think it's beautiful. Yeah, I don't know.
This was back when people really weren't ready for that stuff as well, right? So this was a story that went around when I first joined here 10, 11 years ago. I don't know if it's true or not, but there was a story in one of the papers which was a dad got really angry at Target because they'd emailed his daughter nappies, pregnancy stuff, and he was like, why are you doing this? My daughter's 16, she's not pregnant. And then the daughter was like, actually, I am pregnant. Because they'd analysed, obviously, her search patterns and whatever it may be, yeah.
So that I knew before...
Oh my
yeah,
God.
for dad. Yeah, some way to break it. And I think just back then, people just weren't ready for that. Even now, people, you know, I mean, you've seen...
There's a thin line to be a little bit intrusive with the data and the things we're doing in digital. It happens to all of us. I don't know if you noticed, but you go and talk about it with someone, and I don't know why in Facebook you have it there in the right corner. Yeah. That thing that you were talking about is there.
I wish there was some way, though, when they figure out that you've bought what you want. So I moved house and we've got outdoor sofas, so I bought an outdoor sofa. Last 2 months, everything pop up everywhere's outdoor sofa. I'm like, but I've already bought one. Let's do the thing that goes with the outdoor sofa. Yeah, bought it online. Okay. Yeah. So I wish there was like a cookie that kind of caught that. But anyway, maybe that'll happen. I don't know. So your family. You've got young kids and your wife. Like, how many of your family actually get and know what you do, or they all just kind of shut off, glaze over?
Between 0 and -1, I think. Nobody really understands. I remember when I did my first data analytics strategy, I presented to my dad and my wife in TV, and they were like, "Oh, it's so amazing, it's cool," but no, I don't think they really understand. Like
they just be super supportive, like, "Oh, you're so amazing. We don't get it, but
whatever."
whatever.
You're really excited when you're telling me about it, but yeah, it's difficult. Yeah, people don't really get it. So
this is a question we've asked every week. We're going to go straight into it. Explain like I'm 5. What do you actually do? You've got a 4-year-old and 6-year-old or 7-year-old or?
Yeah, he's 1 and the 4.
Oh, 1 and 4. Okay.
One is 4 and the other one is 1.
Okay, so the 4-year-old's nearly 5. How are you going to explain to them what you do?
Yeah, I was listening to the podcast the other day, and I knew you would ask me. So I was thinking. What I will say is, Dylan, remember when we go to the zoo and we are in his favorite area, apart from the koalas and the tiger and the cheetah, is the reptile cave, which is really dark. So I will say, you know, when Daddy grabs the phone and with the torch and the light, show you where to go and guide you. That's what I do with, you know, people and business.
Brilliant.
I love that.
That's the
That's
first
so
time
good,
someone's got it.
Really clicked.
Because that's going to relate to a 5-year-old, right?
Yeah.
I'm impressed by that.
He will. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm
Really
used
told
to
a
it. By the
story.
way, I need to explain to him a lot of things all the time in the way he needs to. So I guess I got it really recently.
And it's good that you had the prior experience of listening to the podcast stuff. I think about that before. So do you think, because you mentioned earlier to us, you know, you're the guy at the party when you go around, you introduce yourself to everyone, you're inquisitive, you like behaviours, and do you think that's what that we go back to your lightning rod moment when you were like, wow, I can actually now understand exactly how people are thinking? You already wanted to do that by being the person who learned a lot about everyone. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it's a lot of my role is understanding what they want and what they need. So yeah, it is an advantage for me. That is part of my personality. I'm really extrovert. I really like to connect to people. I really like to listen to people, and I think that is paramount for the BI analytics space. You need to listen. If you don't understand what they want or what they need, it's not gonna happen.
And do you think that's helped you push forward your career then? Because when we talk about extrovert in the data world, again, we always generalize on this podcast and say, oh, I'm trying not to generalize, but I am. It's not a common trait necessarily within your world.
100%. It really helped me, and every time I need to hire someone, I struggle to find that balance. People are really technical, really, really good, but not, people skills, soft skills. We call it soft skills, but I don't think they are soft. They are hard to find and hard to learn. It's really difficult to find that in IT, and especially in BI and data.
Yeah.
You really need that, because you go to a room and explain to your stakeholder, your CFO, your CTO, whatever it is, the amazing work you've done with the analytics, the algorithms. If you don't speak their language, if you cannot put in their shoes, the work is going to be wasted. And it happens to me a lot of times in my career.
I was going to say, within degrees, or like just generally when you're learning about this, surely they should have an aspect of it where it's like, please present back and make sense of it. But do they not?
Not in, maybe now.
Yeah.
But back in when I did my university bachelor degree, it was all about technical.
That's not
a little bit of economics. But yeah, it's a really good point. We should address that as well. How can you connect to people? How can you talk to people? How can you give feedback? How can you receive feedback? Leadership as well.
Yeah.
Completely missed from every single degree that I seen.
I think people are hearing about it. The students are hearing about it, but maybe they don't have the resources to then go, oh, how do I learn that? So actually, just as a side note, so I'm doing a guest lecture at UTS in 3 weeks. First time.
Pardon?
I know, right? Random, haven't told anyone yet. To the graduating students of the data analytics course. Yep. And they've got an hour slot for me to say, how do you find your job? Like, how should you navigate the job market?
Really
which I think is great, because now I can walk in there and go, right, on paper, you're kind of all the same. These are how you're going to stand out. And don't do the usual things that people do. I'll just take any job in data, but you can actually start building a narrative and a story around your skill set. So hopefully, by bringing people like me or you, Emily, into students and courses, it might actually help.
I agree. And also when you, I don't know if you find this, but when I ask candidates what they really want out of a job and I specify, please tell me the top 3 things, they're like, oh, just, anything in data science and analytics field. And I'm like, wow, really? You need to tell me exactly where you'd fit and where you'd stand out amongst everyone else in that realm. So yeah.
And it's not their fault, right? Because the competition at that level as a grad coming in, you're like, you just want to grab anything. You don't want to turn anything away. And I get that. But it actually does turn hiring managers off often if you can't say, well, I understand this job function. I think I fit that because of X, Y, Z. That's really going to help you.
Yep.
Agreed.
Cool. All right, let's do this data joke.
Oh, God.
Okay.
It's time. And it's always Emily first.
Yep.
So you know what you've got to go up against, just in case she's got the
bar
same one
is
as
really
you.
low.
Yeah.
So how does it work? Do we need to laugh, or is not mandatory?
Basically, what usually happens is
Far
everyone
out.
awkwardly laughs because you're just like, oh, that's terrible, but we have to laugh.
Okay.
So we'll see how we go.
It's really basic. Okay, ready? So a SQL query walks into a bar and walks up to 2 tables and asks, "Can I join you?"
Well, that makes sense. Yeah. That was not that bad.
You like that one?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
cool. Okay, so now I'm thinking yours isn't going to be as good.
Good one. Yeah. So now mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I needed to get ready for this. I couldn't find any joke. I've been talking to my Spanish friends. We used to tell jokes. I was telling you before the podcast. So every time we, at uni especially, before we go in party, we used to do botellón, which here is called pre-drinks, which is basically going to a house and drink a little bit with your friends. And we used to tell jokes all the time. But trust me, there was no jokes about IT or data. So I called them the other day, guys, any joke for this podcast that we're going to be doing? It's like, nope. So
Everything
I've got one, but it's bad. It's
Okay.
bad. So I'm,
Okay.
yes, disclaimer. I was telling a friend that 80% of the job that we do in BI data analytics is all about preparing the data. And then the 20%, the rest of the 20% is complaining about cleaning the data. It's bad. I told you guys.
So simple.
Do you know what it was?
We're
though?
on par though. I
Yeah,
think
no,
that's-
Okay.
I think yours was better for the first time.
You
Yeah.
won. Yeah.
But I also think you were super resigned to having to say it. So your delivery
yeah.
was just low energy.
And the bad thing is that it's true. Actually,
yeah, 100%.
we complain. 20% of my job is complaining how bad is the data and explain how bad was the data. So it's a joke, but it's also based on real life.
I think if we could tell juniors or grads coming into the market one thing, that's the thing I always tell them is like, your life is not spent doing really cool modeling, especially the first few years of your career. You're going to be cleaning data, finding data,
cleansing.
getting data, right?
100%.
Yeah.
And finding the data and finding that needle in the middle of the high. Yeah.
Well, to make you feel a little better, we'll go to the segment of the show where we go to Emily on the streets.
Okay.
So, Emily, which one this week?
Okay, so it is a question that goes like this. Which one is fake? NumPy, pandas, pigeons, and Hadoop. And everyone has to guess which one is fake, basically, out of those four from the public.
Are you sitting there thinking, oh,
Okay.
do I even know?
Surely you do. Nah, you surely.
Maybe not.
Okay. I
Maybe
don't know.
because we hear about all the tools all the time.
Okay.
I think 50% is gonna get it right.
Okay, 50%. Oh, that's a lot. I think 1 in 4, but I know
I
that.
can't
Then. So anyway, we'll listen to it now and we'll see.
Which of these is fake? NumPy, pandas, pigeons, and Hadoop.
Hadoop.
No. Which of these is fake? Hadoop, NumPy, pandas, and pigeons.
I'm gonna say pigeons.
Which one of these is fake? Hadoop, NumPy, pandas, pigeons.
I'll go with pigeons.
That is correct.
Wow.
Which of these is fake? NumPy, pandas, pigeons, and Hadoop.
Pandas.
No. Which of these is fake? NumPy, pandas, pigeons, and Hadoop.
Hadoop.
No. What's that?
2 out of 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's okay.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good with that. That's the third time my friend Joe's been on here and he's got it right.
Oh, yeah.
He's some sort of like genius, this guy.
Saw him in the domain the other day.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. He's going to be very
Nothing to do
pleased
with
again that he got it right. So there you go. All right. So now the very important question that we do also ask people on the street, which we'll be doing in one of the segments coming up, is the Google question.
What Google question?
Emily's got this for you.
Okay. I always struggle to get this out, but I've said it so many times I should know it. Okay. Would you rather have your Google search history breached to your entire office at Wilson? Or would you rather breach everyone else in your office's Google search history to the entire office, but they know it's you?
Interesting. Look, the pros and cons. Do I really want everybody know that I'm been searching about hair transplant? Not really. Hopefully.
They probably
Don't
guess.
cut this, by the way.
They probably
Not
can
really.
guess that already, right?
Or do I? I think the second one. I would prefer
Oh, wow, you're
them to
gonna-
be exposed and it was me, the bloody Spaniard. It was the bloody Spaniard.
Whoops, sorry.
Oopsie.
Do
Sorry.
you think you've got
I
enough?
have nothing to hide though.
Yeah, but it'd be
But
funny
they
to
could
see
be.
everyone
It
else's.
could be used against my
Yeah.
self, so I would prefer them.
And do you think that you're lovable enough that you get away with it?
Wilson, then give me a year or two because I'm new. But in Swiss, I think I could. I was the head of data and analytics for Swiss for
Yeah.
8 years.
Yeah, a long time
And
you
the
were there. Yeah.
the Calza was fantastic, so I think I could.
Do you think you could have got away with? Well, I control the data of the business, and I said it's okay that I breached this, so you just have to listen to me.
Yeah.
That's the
They
first.
would be
bit.
like, oh, Dennis, bloody Dennis
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
You again. Okay.
Oh, classic.
You're funny.
Yeah.
Classic Dennis
Yeah.
thing.
I think about 80% of people fall on their sword, so you've fallen into the 20% of people who release everyone else's. However, I think of that 80%, there's a number of people who only say that because they want to sound like the nice person,
yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
So at least you're honest with us.
Yeah. Okay.
Entertaining, like.
Yeah. Right, let's talk about some other people in your life, because we haven't done that much of the podcast. And let's talk about some of your colleagues along the way. So who has been the most inspirational colleague or the best colleague that you've ever worked with? And you don't necessarily have to name names, just but what made them so good to work with?
Yeah, I have no doubt. My mentor, Felicity Natter, I need to mention that.
Shout out.
Acknowledge. The CIO at Swiss, amazing. Yes, it's basically everything I am right now is probably because of her.
Wow, that's strong words.
Yeah,
Wow.
her leadership skills were outstanding. I'm still, learning, but she taught us a lot about everything. How important is culture? How important is feedback? How important is talking business language? Everything. Yeah, she's really inspirational. We delivered 12 ERPs with her, and all fantastic.
Really?
Really good outcome on day one, delivering data from, products from day one. I don't know, we built a data lake in the cloud, machine learning. She support me. She's a true leader.
Yeah, okay. So that's good. That leads into another question, which could fit quite... You mentioned culture there.
Yeah.
So is culture more important to you than the strategy? You can have the best strategy in the world, but I think the phrase is, does culture eat strategy for breakfast?
Yeah, a lot of people talk about that. I think culture should be part of your strategy, to be honest. And I think culture is paramount for every business. If you want a successful business, you need to have really strong, positive, empowering culture. And that's what I learned in Swiss in 8 years. The biggest learning I have from those years is not the amazing things we did in BI, as I say, data lake, self-service BI, blah, blah, blah. It's all the culture. How important is the culture? How important is leadership? And for me, the biggest one is giving your team a safe environment to make sure that they can be themselves the best of they can do and safely fail. I don't even call it failures. I call it LGIs. So learn, grow, and improve opportunities. So you twist it. It's not a bad event. It's actually an opportunity for you to grow. And it's the whole mentality. Changing all of that, it makes the difference delivering projects, not only for BI, but for every single business. You deliver a project, there is a challenge, which by the way, I don't say problems, I say challenge. And nobody focus on blaming, nobody focus on who did it, whose fault is. It's not let's focus on how can we do it better and next time and what should we do now. And it's all of that just change the whole game.
That's a great way of thinking. I think we try and do some of that here at Precision. I don't say we always do it perfectly, but we definitely say everybody makes mistakes. It's already happened. So let's not dwell on what's happened. Let's dwell on how do we move forward from here.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's super easy to say those things sometimes, right? And to have everyone in your business thinking the same like that is almost impossible, right?
And that's true. And that's why I think part of the strategy needs to be culture. You need to lead by example. Sometimes you can influence the culture of the whole company, but you can change your culture in your team and part of your strategy and lead by example. And people are really smart. They will like to work with you. They would like to collaborate with your projects, and they will adopt some of the behaviors that you have. They will be like, oh, with Denis it's great because if I'm late or I made a mistake, or it's not blaming me, or it's not exposing me, or it's not escalating. It's understanding and seeing how can we do it better next time. And they will start working on that. So I think it's part of the strategy, definitely. And you can have a solid strategy if you're not thinking about people, which is culture, you're not going to deliver. And it happened a lot that people talk about digital transformation or data transformation. For me, technology is the less important part of the transformation. The important part is people. It's all of this chain in people. It's not only the culture, but business process, and how can they adopt those chains. You can deliver a data lake and nobody will use it.
Yeah, exactly, right.
Wise
all
words.
of the BI reports, 50 reports. You don't change the process, you don't change the mentality, you don't change the culture.
Doesn't matter how great the work you do is unless people can actually implement it and understand it, right?
100%.
Yeah. So we've got something called the culture book here.
Yeah.
It's 21 pages. So we update it every couple of years. We just went through our process of updating it again, and everybody gets split off into teams and they get certain bits of the book. And even if it's not something you bring up every day and read to live, but then it gets people thinking about it. Okay, why is it important for us as a business? I think it's quite a cool thing that we go through. And
yeah, we always talk about it though. I feel like it comes up at least once a month.
That's true.
Just like people come into the business, they don't are not fitting to our culture, they add to it basically. So we all just mold around it.
Yeah.
But that always comes up.
Yeah, I think that would be, if everyone could get that in their heads, that everyone goes, oh, are they a culture fit? So how does our culture change to incorporate their skills into our culture, right? It's the other way around of thinking it.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, instead of fitting in my culture, how can you enrich my culture? Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
But with you guys, my experience is that I feel it, and that happened with other companies, that when you have a strong culture, you don't need a big logo talking about your values. You feel it when you interact with people. It's like, whoa, these guys have a really good culture.
Yeah,
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
So moving on from culture into a question we haven't asked yet. It's quite a fun one. I think we should ask it more. If your job was made into a TV show, who would play you, and what TV show would it be like?
That's a good one. Sometimes I feel it will be like X-Files, but with a little bit of, because I will explain that.
You haven't seen X-Files?
I know, that's terrible.
You're a bit younger though.
I'm old.
I'm just in the middle where I kind of caught the end of it.
Mulder and Scully.
Yeah.
X-Files.
They redid it as well recently.
I know the
UFOs,
like branding.
UFOs.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Paranormal activity.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, mysteries. But I would say, if I were younger and no married and no kids, I would say How I Met Your Mother, but but not anymore. So then it needs to be more X-Files, because sometimes I feel like
if your job was made into a TV show, not if your personal life was made into a TV show.
That's a good one. No, but yeah, sometimes my job is trying to find mysteries and the reason behind and why this is been reconciling. This report has been reconciling for a year. And now it's not reconciling, and everybody's saying we haven't changed anything. You need to find the mystery, and they have always changed something, by the way.
Yeah, I think that's
it's always the business.
But who would play you?
Mulder.
Oh, David Duchovny?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
Yeah,
okay. There's a bit of that there. I can.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, why not?
But it will need to be a little bit more like a mix between that one with comedy, because I'm always cracking jokes and I'm always really easygoing.
So it's kind of a bit of comedy in X-Files, because there was that. It wasn't a funny show, but it had that kind of element to it where people were like, oh, it's kind of funny.
Yeah. Sometimes, there was some really funny moments. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. I like that.
I used to in Spain. They used to play it at midnight.
Oh,
so
really?
I used to pretend I was going to bed, so my mom didn't catch me awake, and then wake up at midnight and watch it.
Did you have snacks as well?
Yeah, always. I'm always eating. Every hour, 2 hours, I'm eating. Yeah.
Okay, so we've spoken a lot about this gentleman in the first 3 weeks. I'm going to speak about him again, Scott Morrison.
Oh yeah.
He always seems to come up with me.
Yeah.
If you had an audience with Scott Morrison, what data would you show him, and why?
Oh wow, my tax return, and we'll want some explanation. Why it's called return if you always need to pay? But anyway, so probably there was an article about the solar power and the numbers behind, and how much space we need to give energy for the rest of the world, or to power Australia. I would love to think about that and saw the data and say, mate, we can use all of this desert that we have and power up Australia, and maybe providing power for the rest, electricity for the rest of the world can be one of our main, revenue drivers in the future, GDP,
Rather than exporting coal and uranium and all the rest of it. That's a great shout.
That's great. Love that.
Yeah, impressive answer. All right, on to some funny stories from your past. So this year we've obviously been on video calls a lot more than normal.
Yep.
What's the funniest video call that you've been involved in? Any funny stories around that?
Yes. No. Yeah, definitely. It comes to my head already. So one of the guys, I'm not gonna mention what company, but he joined the business, and the first week we used to have a monthly team meeting with the whole IT team. So we were like 30 people. His first team meeting, I think he was used to Skype for Business, that you pick up a call or you join a call and the camera is off by default. But this was a Zoom meeting because we have people in overseas, right? So he joined the call and it was summer and he was shirtless. It was his first week, and here we have this guy shirtless over there in the middle of the call, and everybody's like, "Hey, mate!" and he couldn't hear us because the sound was not connected. So it was good.
Did he
5
realize?
minutes.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, no, it was 5 minutes of beautiful views. Yeah, it was interesting.
How did he
my
recover from that?
He was super red,
Really?
really red. He was really embarrassed. He was quiet the whole meeting. Nobody wanted to say anything except me, that I'm always the
Making it lighthearted and joking.
Yeah, like, you look fantastic. You're ready for summer. But
Was he ready for summer? Good summer body? Like
no,
Oh no.
no, I was kidding.
You were just trying
That
to be
was
nice.
fun, but that's my humor. But yeah, no, it was okay. Nobody,
Oh,
he
right.
was-
God, 5 minutes is a long time.
Yeah, because he was not listening. He was trying to fix the sound and stuff, and it was funny.
We haven't had anything that bad, have we?
We have the CIO there. We have all of the senior leaders. Yeah, it was not like like 3 guys, and no, it was funny meeting.
Did you get a resignation the next day? Or?
No.
Okay.
Oh, that's good. So
No.
you all made me feel a bit
No
better. then.
resignation
Okay,
for
that's
that.
good. That's good. Well,
No.
let's stay with shambolic experiences. What's the most shambolic interview experience that you've ever had? Maybe the biggest stuff up you've ever done, or perhaps someone interviewing with you.
Ooh, yeah, I have a good one as well.
Yeah.
So this mate, I'm gonna name him, Stewart, told me, mate, I'm working for this company and they're looking for a data guy, and do you wanna apply? I'm like, oh yeah, happy to apply. I told him, give me the website so I can learn a little bit more about what they do. So he gave me the website. I researched. I really prepare my interviews, like seriously. Like every application for a job, it will take me an hour, 2 hours. I really take it serious. I took really serious this interview. Research a lot. I didn't really see how these guys really need data, because it was like manufacturing like bolts and things, but okay. Anyway, so I prepared the interview. I was ready. I was gonna get the role. It was mine. So meet with the CEO, because it was not a really big company. So it was the CEO, and start talking. And he's like, "Oh, but why you wanna join us?" I was like, "Yep, I'm ready for this. I've been preparing. This is what I like. I like your products. I want be part of the future. Blah blah blah." And he was listening and like, this Spanish guy is crazy. And then he's like, but mate, sorry, but what are you talking about? Like, we do software for lawyers. And they're like, oh, well, what? And like, don't you manufacture? Oh, Stewart, he was his friend as well. Stewart, this is the website he sent me. So I saw him and I exposed him, and he forgot, my friend gave me the website without .com.au. He forgot the .au. And there was an American company that it was called the same name. And I didn't get the role, but it was fun. It was fun.
I bet it was. Did you recover?
No.
No, you just got, I'm done. This is...
It was like, no, after that we were like, yeah, look, forget about it. Don't worry. And we had a beer. I don't drink beer, but he had a beer. I think he needed after my speech. Oh, it was a disaster.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
that's
it was
bad.
funny. It was funny.
Did you not at some point throughout this huge monologue about a ball manufacturing company, did you in his face at all see kind of like...
I could see it, like it was not working, and I didn't know
so
why.
You doubled down and you
Yeah,
kept
no,
going.
so I went harder, like, wow, don't worry, I have more.
He was like not asking qualifying
completely
questions. Like,
shattered.
I'm sorry, are you following? Nah, more.
Thank you, Stewart.
So he owes you one still, I'm
It's
guessing.
so good.
Forever.
Yeah, forever.
Yeah.
That was horrible.
All right, well, what about maybe
Embarrassing.
one about someone else? What's the funniest sales pitch or the funniest interaction you've had from a recruiter?
Ooh.
Don't say me.
Emily called me once. No, but it happened more than once. It's not like a sales pitch, but it's typical conversation with a recruiter that they ask you a question. Where are you heading? What are your goals? Where do you want to see yourself in 5 years? Typical question. What are your experience? He's not listening. And he's not listening. Not listening. And then when you finish, you are perfect for this ERP role that you're going to, because you understand the business and the ERP. And like, what do you mean? That happens a lot with recruiters.
Does it?
Really?
They're not listening. They have the role. They're calling you for a role.
Okay.
And it didn't happen with you guys, never. But they have a role. They want you to fit in that role. So they just hear the key roles. And yes, I mentioned ERP. I say we delivered 12 ERPs, and I was in charge of data migration and cut over ERP. But
Wow.
it's not what I do, and this is not what I'm heading, and this is not at my level, and this is...
So they got that one track mind, basically.
What's the percentage of those like calls coming through? What are those types of people?
Happen a lot. The lack of listening happened a lot because, and I understand a little bit. So it's, you want to fill a role, so you just care about those keywords.
Is it like majority rules though? Like over 50%?
Of the recruiters?
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually, the minority really listen to
Oh, that
you.
makes me sad.
I'm sorry, but it's true. And you guys are the minority, in my experience. And I have another guy that is really good. The rest, really bad experience.
No wonder people don't like recruiters after that.
Yeah, that was my experience. You know, I might be the only one. Someone else might come and say no. Everyone.
There's not many things worse in a conversation when you know the other person isn't listening, so that must be really frustrating and why people get frustrated. The way our process goes, and it works the other way as well, I think it's interesting to say, we always ask the questions of the candidate first. What do you want to do? Who are you? Give us a bit of background. Maybe not right for this role, right for that role, but oftentimes we'll get the person on the other end of the phone, probably because of the experiences they've had with you. They'd like, just tell me about the role and I'll tell you if I'm good for it, right?
Yeah.
So that works in some situations, but then 50% of the time, if you do that, the candidate's like, yeah, I'm great for that. And then they'll try and fit into it. And so there's kind of
the other way around.
Yeah, the other way around, right? So I guess there's not really one. It's just if everybody would just slow down and listen, right? That would probably be the solution there.
Don't even think it's a call about a job. Just like it's about your career and someone's looking out for you. And if that role comes up, then just say it as a blanket term, not just like geared to one role. Or
Yeah, I think we don't want to get too much into recruitment because talk about you here, Dennis. But I guess the thing is, the whole recruitment system would have to change then. You know, if every conversation we could have could just be about in the next 24 months. If the right thing came up, we would call you about it. But just timing doesn't work like that in life, right? We've got roles to fill right now. You need a job right now. It is what it is, right? We make it happen or not. Exactly. So there you go. All right, let's get into some slightly more serious stuff. It's never too serious with us. But this is one we're going to do every week. What is the most useful or influential book about data you've ever read? And I hope you have read some. I'm just waiting for the day someone comes and goes, I don't read books about data. But have you got one?
About data?
Maybe not even about data. Maybe that's helped you in your career.
In my career, Who Moved My Cheese is a really
Who
good
Moved My
book.
Cheese?
Have you read that?
Who Moved My Cheese?
Yeah,
I've definitely heard of it.
it's a really small book. I really recommend you to.
I'm pretty
read
sure
it.
Simon brought that into our precision library that we lost all the books of years ago. But yeah.
It is good. It talks about change and how. I can give you a quick summary. So there is a maze, and there is this couple of mouse. Every morning they wake up at the same time. They go through the same, path, and they reach a big pile of cheese and they eat. But one day they woke up like every day and they go the same way they went, and the cheese is gone. One of the mouse continue walking through the maze, trying to find the cheese. The other one start crying and wondering, why me? I worked so hard for the cheese. And it talks about the experience of that mouse and what happened to him and how that relates to your life. It could be job, you could lose your job, you could lose your marriage, your wife, your partner, or something worse, and how to overcome that. But it's fantastic.
That's
it's really
cool.
short and really, really, really interesting.
We'll get that
Really
on
helped me.
our list.
Mindset.
Yeah. And in terms of data, there is one called Show Me the Numbers, I think. It talks about how the brain works and where you look at and how the brain connect the colors and when to use colors and when not to, and talks about the visualization of data. Yeah.
Great.
You'd love that because your diary's like
Super thick.
ridiculously
Really
color-coded.
thick,
Yeah,
really
super color-coded, yeah. Something a little bit more serious, something we've been talking about recently is salaries. And we've done some talent surveys. They've been going up very quickly, about 15% just in the last few months. Do you think people in data are paid correctly or fairly?
I'm going to get in trouble here.
It's a loaded question, yeah.
Yeah. I think they are sometimes overpay. We are sometimes overpay, to be honest.
Not you though. You need more.
No, me no.
Yeah.
I actually need a little bit pay raise, but that's another thing. No, but in general, the start salary is really high, and some of the work that they're gonna be doing, it's not really. The ROI is not that easy to justify. So if you're gonna hire somebody for 120K and he's gonna be doing pipes move data from here to here, how can I justify that? Is that really fair? I don't know. It depends as well. It's a really tricky question because it depends where you are as well. In
Right.
Spain, for example, and in Europe, the data roles and the IT jobs in general are not really well paid. I think in UK they are.
Yeah, UK is not bad. Yeah,
but Mediterranean countries they're not. In Australia, I think it's all about demand and
supply.
the supply.
Yeah,
So that's the biggest challenge we have in Australia. It's really difficult to find people.
especially right now with the
So
immigration.
that's why the salary is going up. Is that fair or not fair, or is that justified by the value in the business? Maybe not, but it's a supply and demand thing. It's not driven by the ROI, I think, of the job in this case.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a house, right? It's whatever someone's willing to pay for it.
Yeah,
That's what the
it's
value
exactly
is.
that. So will you pay $1 million for an apartment? Not really, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening at the moment. I think it will, when everything finishes with the pandemic and more people come, I think
It'll settle again.
Yeah, but at the moment we are struggling with people, and it's difficult to find. We were talking before, that right person that has got the mix between IT and business.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So I guess two questions. Let's go with this one first. So, in terms of who should get paid the most in the data world, which job title, which kind of person do you think brings the most value?
Good question.
Yeah, so I will link it to the value. Who, yeah, it's like, football players or in the La Liga, who gets paid more is the one who generates more. It doesn't matter if it's goals or it's marketing, but you get paid because the amount of money you generate. In the data space, who generates more money? It's a really difficult question. I don't know. It depends. It could be the leader, obviously. He's got more responsibility and it makes that things... Actually, there is ROI linked to every strategy, every initiative. But if we go technical, I think the analytic kind of mindset, kind of...
Making sense of the data.
Yeah, getting the insights. Should pay a little bit more because they understand the business more and get these new ideas or challenge the status quo and create a new insight or new, I don't know, something new. Talk about leading, lagging indicators is the person that is actually connected to the business. I think
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I feel like they've got to be the conduit between, and they also have to do the technical component, right? And then communicate it to so many different people and make sure it's like commercialized, monetized, all that.
Yeah.
Right.
Let me give you an example. We did a promotional effectiveness at Swiss, really massive ROI, but the first goal we had with the presentation, it was a disaster, and I was talking before about that. We present all of the work and in charts and pies and massive tables, a lot of data, a lot of insights. Nobody got it. In the business, there was no value. And then there was this person, and I learned a lot from him. He was a consultant, but he was really good. He said, no, let's do this in 4 rules. Let's put this in 4 really simple rules. Cannibalization or resting a promotion. If you raise a promotion more than X number of weeks, your baseline goes up. So you are getting obviously more revenue. If you put 2 products that are really similar in promotion at the same time, this is causing $3 million in, reducing the sales. It was 4 rules, really simple. The summary of all the work we did. That guy is the guy that needs to get paid.
Yeah.
Pay more.
Yeah, that's
and
a great example.
We all did the work, but he is the genius.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Because you could have the argument you're saying about the analytics person, but the analytics person is nothing without the person getting the data, piping the data in and all that. But that person there is obviously a standout kind of character.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So that works really nicely with one of our other questions, which is which job kind of function, shall we say, do you generally see out there that just don't get data? They don't get what you do, and you kind of hit a wall every time. And you're going to, again, throw yourself under the bus a bit here.
It depends on the company, to be honest. I've been in a lot of companies. I used to change jobs really often to keep growing, learning until I reached Swiss. But in my experience, it's finance. Sometimes they know a lot about reporting, but they think they know a lot about data, but they know a lot about the numbers, but not the data and the insights that you can get from. And then HR, or people and culture that I like to call it. I'm sorry.
That's not us.
They have a lot of opportunities there to get better with the data. There is a lot we could do with them. And in my experience, in all of the past roles, we never get to connect with them. It's probably because it's not business priority. They want us to focus in other areas, operations or sales or marketing or pricing. But I think the biggest opportunity is in people and culture.
Definitely. And it's a growing area. HR analytics is kind of what it's called, people analytics.
Yeah.
Not being done by many companies, which is surprising. And I think that's partly because HR and people and culture are often seen as a cost center. And that's another added cost to their cost center, which they're already really conscious about. So they don't have that ability to go, hey, give me more money, because they're like, well, you're already a big cost to our business, right?
Yeah. I remember a meeting with a HR team back in a lot of years ago. We were gathering requirements. Where are you heading? What are your challenges? What are your initiatives? And the only thing we got is that they needed a new iPad and they didn't have Wi-Fi in I don't know what office. It's like, that's not data, that's not BI. That's not a goal or strategy for your team. So it was hard. So yeah, it's hard for them to get it.
So how would you help them?
Yeah.
We managed to get there, but we needed an extra hour.
Of course.
But yeah, it's just leading questions and giving examples and driving the conversation so they feel part of that.
Surely that's just down to under-education as well within that space, right?
Yeah, and
they just don't really think like that.
Yeah.
Generalizing, obviously.
And people in people and culture, normally they have other skills. They are more people oriented. They are really good connecting with people, giving feedback, understanding emotions. They might not really enjoy as well the numbers and the analytical space. There are exceptions, of course, but it's not their preference. So it's like if I need to do something that I don't really enjoy, I don't know, like a project plan. I need to do it, and I can do it, and I know how to do it, but it's harder for me to do it sometimes. Maybe for them it's the same. I need to look at these numbers and I need to think, how can I do it? But I prefer to talk to you and see what is the challenge.
So in terms of that area then, I don't know, it's putting you on the spot, so you might not have anything, but for example, we have a database of 100,000 people on it, which for Australia in IT and data is pretty good. Like, what would you do with that data if you had the opportunity to it obviously would help you understand people's drivers, their backgrounds, how their careers have moved. You can see their salaries, how they've increased over time, or their job titles. Do you have an idea of how you would use that data so that if someone from people and culture is listening now, they'd be like, maybe get something from that and pick it up? Or am I putting you on the spot?
Are you asking me for free advice?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know. What would I do with your data? First, I will understand what you do day to day. What are your business process and what are your goals, your strategy? And I will try to get some insights from there. But I think I don't know. It's a really tricky question. You might be able to find patterns on when people are going to change jobs.
It's a good idea.
So by the time they are trying to find opportunities for you guys in revenue, by the time the data tells you this person is ready, you might be able to call them and say, by the way, it's like Vodafone, calling the customers when they're going to quit. They're just going to stop the prepay. You call them and say, how are you doing? Are you happy? Are you still happy? It's been 2 years and a half, or whatever the data say, 4 years and a half. You want a new career, you want a new salary, you want a new life, better.
So if you flip that,
everything is better outside. But
if you flip that internally, then is kind of what I'm getting at. You could work with an HR team and say, right, let's analyze our past 10 years of when do people leave, why do they leave,
100%.
and let's get ahead of it, because it's so much cheaper to give someone $10,000 more to keep them than to go and hire someone new, right?
100%.
And that's a simple thing that they could do. Yeah, we got something there. That's good. Right, I'm going to ask you only one more question.
That was $200, by the way.
Oh, yeah, sure. No, you can bill us. One more question, and then we're going to get into why people should work for you, which we always do at the end of the podcast. A bit of a sales moment for you, but it's quite an important question for us in our podcast. Is a zombie apocalypse has occurred, and you are allowed 3 people with you who are not obviously your partner and your 2 kids. Who would you have in your zombie apocalypse with you, and why?
Really like this question. I love zombie movies and games, Resident Evil and all of these games. I love it.
Perfect. So have you thought about this before?
Yeah, because there was a pandemic and I'm a hypochondriac, so I was thinking this is going to happen, so I need to be ready. So I think I will need a farmer.
Okay.
Just in case
Smart.
I need to get somewhere away from everything and I need food.
Any famous farmers that you know that you might bring along with you?
No, farmers are not typically
Go to New
famous.
Zealand. Go to New Zealand and pick one out.
Really? It could be from New Zealand.
The only one I know is Charlie Dimmock, who used to be on a show back in the UK, which neither of you will know. It's a ginger lady from the 90s, very famous in the UK.
No.
Anyway.
Yeah. A doctor, because I told you I'm a hypochondriac, so I don't want to get sick and not be able to know what's going on and what to do. And somebody's muscles. We need muscles.
Okay.
I don't have them yet.
He's taken the path that I've done.
Yeah, so I need somebody from the army or something knows how to shoot and fix a gun or something like that.
That's smart.
Hopefully the farmer and the doctor are female.
Okay, yeah. We talked about this before, about repopulating the Earth.
Oh, yeah.
We spoke about that.
Two female, 2 men, no fights.
Because you're there for the future of mankind, right?
Yeah,
so,
it's not only about populating the world, no, it's about passing the time.
Yeah, of course, there's that as well in the bunker,
in the middle of nowhere, full of surrounded by zombies.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so but we're going to flip it around. So you've got the pragmatic choice of farmer, doctor, muscles, but you've got to pick people. You got to say like a famous person or like a fictional character.
Like Evan said, Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Yeah, the Rock's come up a lot.
The Rock,
because he's funny and he's big.
No, I like him.
Okay, so we're having the Rock again, like the most liked person in the world. It seems like, honestly. I mean, I love the Rock as well.
The doctor could be one of these ones from what is this TV show?
Grey's Anatomy. Oh.
No, I didn't watch that one. ER.
ER. George Clooney.
No, but it needs to be a girl.
Oh.
I don't remember the girl.
I don't know.
I
never watched ER.
The name
so.
of actress and actors. I'm horrible.
No, I'm sorry.
You could just say Meredith of Grey's Anatomy. She's great.
Okay.
Yeah, here you go. So Meredith, The Rock, and
then we have a farmer, which I have no idea. So we'll go with your ginger lady. Which
yeah.
Is
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Charlie.
Dead already.
Yeah. Well, she might be a bit old now.
Was she
'Cause
old?
she was. No, she must have been about 40 in the 90s. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't
We
want to
crossed
shoot
Unreliable
the,
now.
the earth, we crossed
What
that
about
one.
like a chef instead of a farmer? Maybe who knows how to farm?
Okay.
Yeah. What's the UK chef who?
Jamie Oliver?
No, the lady who used to do the she's kind of sensual with her cooking show.
Nigella Lawson.
Have you seen the chef that is Italian? He's got a strong accent. He's really funny, especially because he's a strong accent. He made
The
a lot of
Italian guy.
mistakes.
Is he here in Australia?
On a TV show. I think he's in UK. And he say.
Oh yeah, in the morning
really,
show.
Yeah, he's really passionate about
and
the
he always
things.
says the words the wrong way, and
and the people laugh, and I really like him.
I
He's
think
really
he's on
funny,
like
and
Good
it reminds
Morning
me
or
to me
something.
because I have a really strong accent.
Okay, cool. There you go. All right, so we figured it out. All right, so final questions for the podcast. That was fun. I like that. Good work on that one. So why should people want to work for you at Wilson and your team? Basically, is the long story.
Well, I like it. I don't want to talk about Wilson a lot because we are in a journey, and it's kind of confidential. But we have really exciting things ahead. So that's definitely happening. In terms from my end, I think I don't want to be cocky, but I think I'm really unique. I'm really unique leader. I really believe in leadership. I really believe in people, caring about people, putting people first. I think is one of my biggest principles. If I need to decide between having a really tough conversation with a project or executive or demanding my team to work long hours on a weekend or something like that, I will definitely try to have the conversation first. I really care about people. I always try to empower them, create this safe culture. I don't know if you heard about this rule 51-49%.
No.
It's a long one. I could talk about leadership forever, but it talks about do you want to be a leader that takes every decision, even the one that is 80% probability is to get it right, 20% to get it wrong, or do you want to be a 51-49 leader? The team only goes to you when there is a really tough, difficult decision, and you empower them and endorse them to make decisions. And if there is a mistake, obviously under control, but we talked before about the LGI, learn, grow, and improve. Let's do it better next time and see why we got it wrong. But yeah, I really care about that. And it's all about, as I say, giving that positive environment so they can be the best. Yeah.
So I'll ask a question that we haven't asked the other two at the end here, but I think it's quite relevant now, considering what you said. We give a lot of advice to people. How do you find a job? What are the best ways of going around it? And we say try and find someone that you resonate with, whether it be their profile on LinkedIn or you hear something from them. You're like, yeah, I really like that. I think you will have struck a chord with a few people on today's podcast. So what kind of skill sets are you going to be looking for coming up? And if someone was to send you a LinkedIn connection, what kind of person would you be like, oh, actually, you're the kind of person I would hire in the next year.
Yeah, it's definitely someone that loves data, but also love to interact with people. People that are really technical, are really important for IT and are really important for the business. But right now, what I really like and I really need in my team is someone that can connect to the business, understand the business, show value, have conversation with them, but at the same time create some beautiful insights and reports. So I think that's for me finding that balance is the key forever. Like not next year, but the year after and after. We are heading into, I don't know if you are familiar with the analytics maturity model. They started with descriptive analytics and finished with prescriptive analytics. So from really simple reports to what is going to happen in the future or how can I make it happen. So little by little, I will start getting people from that space, more data science and advanced analytics and predictive and machine learning. I haven't seen anything yet really impressive, to be honest, with advanced analytics. I've been in a lot of conference before pandemic, obviously, and talking to Deloitte and KPMG and big companies, and haven't seen anything that we didn't do. I don't know. When I started, we used to do this predictive analytics. It was not called machine learning. It was called data mining, which is not really fancy. Now it's called really cool names, but we used to do the same. It's now easier because you do it in the cloud, you spin up a server, few hours you have your model done. I used to run it on a Friday, wait the whole weekend. Monday, sometimes it was finished, sometimes not. And then you will get the result a few days later. But we used to do it as well. So I don't see anything extraordinary yet in the space. I really want to see something amazing or do something amazing.
Sure.
I have a lot of ideas, but I need to create the foundation and get the funding.
That's kind of how I feel with food. I was speaking to you about this last week. No, but so I love food, right? Really, really love food. And we've eaten at a lot of amazing restaurants, my wife and I, or Emily and the crew here. And I've kind of hit a bit of a roadblock. I'm waiting for a new flavor, a new taste, a new sensation where I just really wowed.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because Australia is a smaller population country, it isn't here. But so that's kind of, and everyone talks about this place amazing, that place. And I go, I'm like, yeah, it's good. Yeah. But come on, give me a little bit more. Do you think it's dictated by just the world right now where you need to drive value, you need to add value to the ROI of the business, that you don't have that rope maybe to go off and do the really super cool fun project that...
Yeah, I think, you're right. I think my feeling is a few years ago, everybody started jumped a few steps and everybody started in the predictive analytics and advanced analytics and doing really crazy stuff. And then they realized at some stage that, okay, let's get the basics right and get our data right, our process right, our operational reports, KPI, strategic reports right. And now little by little, a lot of companies are moving that way. There are a few companies probably that are doing amazing stuff, especially in digital space. But I'm not familiar with that. But I think we have a lot of opportunities, and with the world in general, it's not ready yet. Yeah. But we are getting there. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. There you go. I could talk to you for hours, but unfortunately we do have to stop. I've been told as well by you, Emily, and Adriano, our producer, that I have to leave these at an hour. I do 3 hours if I could, but unfortunately not. Apparently people stop listening. Anything else to add for me today, Emily?
No, just thanks for coming on, Denis.
Thank you.
It's so good.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, really enjoyed
and
that.
Your dry humour.
Yeah. So next week, or 2 weeks, I always say next week, in 2 weeks, we've got a gentleman called Mark Grace from Big Red Group, which is the Red Balloon Group, the experiences. Yep. So hopefully there'll be some really cool stuff that comes out of that. But as always, everyone stay safe and have a good week.